Hello everyone and welcome back to the pond. My name is Frank, aka Bullfrog TCG, and today we are taking a look at Kai'Sa. But we are not taking a look at just any Kai'Sa, because as you might know, a couple of weeks ago the first ever Riftbound Regional was held in China, and Kai'Sa remained victorious. So we're actually taking a look at the winning deck list from that event. Because usually I like to build my own decks, but since I had the opportunity to play the winning deck list to kind of play a tried and true version of the legend, I'm just going to do that instead. So we're going to take a look at that deck list, and then we are also going to see why she is as good as she is. And we're going to decide for ourselves if she actually deserved to be the winner of that event. So yeah, without further ado, let's take a look at the deck list. Okay, let's take a look at Kai'Sa. Now, for the first time on this channel, this is not a deck that I've built myself. This is, of course, the winner Kai'Sa from the Chinese regional, the first ever Riftbound regional, and Kai'Sa won it, and this is the deck. And I've never played Kai'Sa before this, so I thought this is the perfect way to kind of see what all the fuzz is about, and see if she's as good as everyone says she is. But okay, so Kai'Sa, Daughter of the Void, she's in red and blue, or Fury and Mind. And she says, reaction, add 1 power. Now this might seem like a pretty simple legend ability that doesn't really do that much, but accumulatively this legend ability gets so much value, because this means that all of your 1 power spells, like your Void Seekers and your Hextech Rays and your Smoke Screens, all of those, you kind of get to pay them for free, without recycling anything. So you get to play all these powerful spells that are kind of balanced out by the fact that they require you to recycle one. So you just kind of, like, all those spells in this deck gets unbalanced because you don't have to recycle anything. So you can keep playing all these powerful spells without sacrificing your, like, rune curve. So this is just really good. But okay, let's take a look at the champion. So Kai'Sa herself, Kai'Sa Survivor. She's a 4 energy, 4 might unit with Accelerate, and when I conquer, draw 1. So this is just a really good card. It's just cheap card it gets to conquer battlefields early, and then also gets to conquer battlefields like from out of nowhere, and then also just draws you 1. So really cheap, efficient card, which also like digs through your deck to find your removal spells and all your other cards you want to see. So yeah, this is just a really, really good champion, and I don't really see people running the other Kai'Sa that much. This one is just kind of. This is kind of the one people run anyways, and not even just in Kai'Sa, but just like in other decks in general. So yeah, just a really solid card. And then we go over to the spells. Probably the best card in the game is the Kai'Sa signature spell, Icathian Rain. 7 energy, 3 power, do this 6 times, deal 2 to a unit. This is just a falling star on crack. It is expensive. It requires you to pay 3 power, but in this deck it only requires you to pay 2 power, so it only kind of sets you back 1 turn. But yeah, it deals 12 damage, but that is divided amongst 6 instances of damage. So it's just way harder to kind of, if you can't counter this, like it's just so hard to get around the value of this card, because this just deletes boards. But he is only running it as a one-off, and I think it's just big. It's not that good into all matchups, and especially in this meta when there's a lot of like both Kai'Sa and Master Yi, the Icathian Rain is not really that good into those decks. It's more good against decks that play a lot of like smaller minions or smaller units. So I think that is also why he's only playing it as a one-off. But okay, he's also playing 3 Void Seeker, 3 energy, 1 power, action, deal 4 to unit at a battlefield, draw 1. Just a really solid spell. It's cheap, it's efficient, it deals 4 to a unit, which is gonna get rid of a lot of early stuff and also some late stuff as well, and then it recycles itself. And then we have Falling Star, a classic red staple, 2 energy, 2 power, do this twice, deal 3 to a unit. So this too is just a really good card, and the key thing about this card is that it deals damage to units off battlefields. So this is like your main way of getting rid of stuff before your opponent gets to use their stuff to conquer with them. So yeah, this is just a really, really good staple in red. And then we have 2 Cleave, 1 energy, action, give a unit assault 3 this turn, which means that it gets 3 plus might while it's an attacker. And this card is really efficient for what it does, because it just gives something plus 3 might for 1 energy. which is really efficient, and then it also combos really well with one of the units we're playing in the deck, which I'll get to. But okay, we're also playing 2 smokescreen, 2 energy, 1 power, reaction, give a unit -4 might this turn to a minimum of 1. So this 2 is just a really solid spell. It's 2 energy to give something -4, which is just like the numbers there are just crazy, because you can, especially in this deck, because with the Kai'Sa ability you don't even have to pay the power, or you don't have to recycle to pay the power. So this just becomes 2 energy -4, which is very, very good. And then we have Stupefy, reaction, 1 energy, reaction, give a unit -1 this turn to a minimum of 1, and then draw 1. This card is, like, in the beginning I thought this card was so, like, it was just like a cute card. It didn't really matter that much, and I never really played it that much until I put it in this deck. But that 1 might matters so much. Like, there were so many breakpoints you can get with just that 1 might difference. And the fact that it replaces itself as well is that you can use it both on your opponent's stuff, and you can also use it on your own stuff in reaction to like a removal spell or something like that, just to draw 1. So this is just a really, really flexible card in that way. So yeah, I really like him. That is also why he's playing it as a 3 of. But okay, he's also playing 2 retreat. 1 energy, reaction, return a friendly unit to its owner's hand. Its owner channels 1 rune exhausted. So this actually ramps you while also protecting your stuff for 1 energy. Reaction speed. Which means that if your opponent tries to kill your Kai'Sa, for example, you can just pay 1, get the Kai'Sa back, and then also have 1 extra rune to work with on the next turn. So yeah, this is just a really efficient, solid card to protect your stuff. I mean, you do have to play it out again on the next turn, but I mean, that's fine. You know, it's yeah, it's just a really cheap protection spell. And then he also plays Singularity, 6 energy, 2 power, deal 6 to each of up to 2 units. Now this is also a really good removal spell just to get rid of bigger guys. The big like drawback of this card compared to something like Falling Star, for example, is that this can't be used to deal 6 damage twice to the same unit. It has to be divided among 2 units, which I think is a good thing because it kind of balances it out. If it was that flexible, then I think this would just have been a bit too good. But still, it is an insane card, but I think it is a bit expensive, and I think that is why he's also only playing it as 1. But yeah, solid card. Okay, and then for the last spell we play 3 Hextech Ray. 1 energy, 1 power, action, deal 3 to a unit at a battlefield. Just really efficient, solid, cheap removal spell. Nothing more to say about that. And also in this deck it doesn't even require you to recycle 1. So here is just 1 energy, deal 3. Which is just lightning bolt for those of you who have played Magic the Gathering. But okay, let's go over to the units. So we're playing 2 Noxus Hopeful, 4 energy, 4 might, Legion, I cost 2 less. So on its own, it's just 4 for 4. But if you play it after something else, say around 4 runes, and you play a 2 cost, and then you play this is just really good tempo. It trades very good into like a lot of early units. It also just beats over a lot of early units. So this is just really good to have early in the game, but also it's not that good on its own. It's pretty bad on its own, so that is also probably why it's only playing it as a 2 of. Then we also have the Powder Poro as a 2 of, 2 energy, 2 power, deflect. I think all the Poros are pretty good. I'm a bit confused as to why the red Poro doesn't have assault, because I didn't think that would have been a lot more fitting. But yeah, deflect is still also good. It just makes it a bit more annoying for your opponent to deal with because they have to recycle 1 to target this. But yeah, just a good early drop to get some points early. And then we have Darius, 5 energy, 5 might, 1 power. When you play your second card in a turn, give me +2 might this turn and ready me. So this is kind of like this is very good card to combo with the cleave, because you can play this out, and then for 1 energy you can play the cleave. This readies and get +2, so it gets +10. So that's for 6 energy. You've developed a 10 might attacker that can attack on the same turn, which is not bad at all. Okay, and then we also play 3 Watchful Sentry, 1 Lecturing Yordle, and 3 Ravenbloom Student. These are kind of like 3 mainstays when you're talking about like the early blue drops. So Watchful Sentry, 1 energy, 1 power, Death Knell, draw 1. Just a good early drop to conquer points, and then when he dies, you just kind of get the card back. Yordle, just play down, draw one, and then it also has tanks. So in some situations, it can kind of be the difference between your opponent being able to kill your more important stuff. So that's not bad at all. And then also you just play Ravenbloom Student, 2 energy, 2 might. When you play a spell, give me +1 this turn. So we are playing a lot of spells in this deck. So this consistently becomes a 3 might unit, and then sometimes also a 4 might unit. So yeah, that's a really solid card early game. And then we have the Sprite Mother. 4 energy, 1 power, 3 might unit. When you play me, play a ready 3 might sprite unit token with temporary here. I mean, this is one of my favorite cards in the game. It's just so good to play. Like, you play this out, and then you attack with the sprite, and you can conquer something with the sprite. You can trade into something with the sprite. So it's kind of like a card that attacks twice, but the first attack it just doesn't risk anything by itself. So this is just a really solid card. It gives you like conquer on the turn you play it, and then it gives you follow up on the next turn. So yeah, just a solid card. And then we play the Thousand-Tailed Watcher. I mean, we are playing blue, so we kind of have to play this. It's a 6 energy, 6 might unit with 1 power cost, and then accelerate. When you play me, give enemy units -3 might this turn to a minimum of 1. I mean, if you've played this game for a while, I mean, not even a while, if you've played this game for a little bit and you run into blue, or you've played blue yourself, you probably know what this card does. It is just like the finisher of blue. The big finisher. You play this out, and almost no matter what your opponent has, unless he has a million units on the board, this is just gonna clear and just flip the game on its head. It's that good. We are only playing 2 in the main deck and then 1 in the side deck. So yeah, just the full set in total is, I mean, yeah, you kind of have to run it with this one. And then for the last unit, we're playing 2 more Kaisas. So 1 in the champion zone and 2 more in the deck, because this is one of those cards that, I mean, that is also one of the things, like, especially in this meta when there was a lot of removal decks like Kaisa running around, having accelerated units like this and the Darius. I mean, the Darius is kind of semi-accelerated, I guess, and the Thousand-Tailed Watcher just makes it so that you can conquer very aggressively, and potentially conquer without, like, conquer from an empty board, which is just really important. Okay, and then for the battlefields, we are playing 1 Reaver's Row. When you defend here, you may move a friendly unit here to base. This is also a really good card, or a really good battlefield, because especially in like this deck, is when, let's say, we attack our opponent in this battlefield, before anything happens, they have to choose if they want to use this battlefield. So we can attack with a 3 might unit, and they might stay in with a 3 might unit, for example, and then they say like, okay, I'm just going to take the trade, I'm not going to move back. And then we hit them with the cleave, for example, and then now it's too late for them to move back, so they have to kind of let their unit die, or just use something else to kind of change the situation. So yeah, I think this card is a really interesting card to kind of play around. And it also protects your own stuff, because you can conquer here, and then if you don't want to take the trade, you can just move it back and then potentially use it on the next turn. So yeah, this is a really good battlefield. Then we'll play Targon's Peak. When you conquer here, ready 2 runes at the end of this turn. So this is kind of like what the upside of playing Annie versus playing Kaisa is, that you do get the 2 runes at the end of this turn. And with this battlefield, you can also get that in Kaisa. So yeah, this is just a really solid card for decks that play a lot of spells, because you can play your whole turn and then you can still have 2 runes up to potentially do stuff on your opponent's turn. So yeah, just a really good battlefield. And then for the final one, we play Voidgate. We're playing a spell deck, so we kind of have to play this. Spells and abilities affecting units here each deal 1 bonus damage. And each deal. So that means that if you play the Ekathine Rain, for example, all of those 6 instances of damage are going to deal 3 each. So now it suddenly becomes 6 energy, 3 power, deal 18. Which is quite insane. But okay, and then for the runes, we're just playing 7 Fury runes and 5 Mind runes. Now the sideboard is, I mean, sideboards are always going to develop, like, depending on the meta, but he's playing 1 Ekathine Rain, 1 Thousand-Tailed Watcher, 1 more Darius, 3 Immortal Phoenix, which I'm guessing is for the mirror, and also for just like heavy removal decks in general. And then also 2 Iron Ballista, which I'm not really sure why he's playing this one. I think he's playing it probably against Master Yi, because Master Yi has a lot of low power, like the Wielder of Water, for example, which is on its own is just a 2 might unit, and then when it attacks and defends, then it kind of gets bigger. So this is just a really efficient way to get rid of those cards. But okay, that is the deck list. We are gonna run into some games and we are gonna see for ourselves why this deck is as good as it is and why it deserves to be the winner of the Chinese regional, the first ever Riftbound regional. So yeah, with that, enjoy the games and I will see you at the end for the wrap up. Okay, so first game is against Darius. Now this is one of those matchups where it is especially important to keep your opponent's board clear, because one of the ways we could lose is with him having a full board and then also having Grand Stratagem to just give all of his guys +5. So that is something we have to watch out for. But yeah, let's see how this goes. We are on the play, so we are gonna lead off with a Riftbound student. A very good early drop. He's gonna lead off with a Faithful Manufacturer, get himself a recruit token. Yep. Okay, and then we both get a point for the Arena's Greatest, the battlefield, which we both forgot. And then we're gonna go and conquer the Void Gate. Yep, get a point. And then just past him. I didn't really want to play something out here because I wanted to be able to react with a Hextech Ray or a Smokescreen in case he wants to attack into my Riftbound student. So that's why I didn't play anything there. He's gonna play another Manufacturer, so he's getting a lot of guys on the board. But fortunately not the biggest guys. And then he's also gonna play a one of those guys that I can't remember the name of right now. Yep, he's gonna go get 1 point with the recruit. Go up to 2. Yeah, we don't. I mean, we could have played the Hextech right there, but we didn't really want to waste it on just on a recruit where we can just swing into it with a Kaiser like this. Yep. Draw 1 and then pass to him. So this is a really good position to be in because if he wants to attack into the Kaiser, we do have the Stupefy. Then we also have the Hextech Ray. So we do have quite a lot of options here. He plays the Darius. And then he also plays the Baited Hook. Okay, so now he's tapped out. So we know that if he wants to attack us with the Darius, he doesn't have anything else that he could play. And then yeah, we just pay 1 and play Hextech Ray. And then, I mean, our Kaiser's still gonna die, but if we can take the Darius with us by just using 1 card, then yeah, we will take that deal. So yeah, we're not in a bad spot. Yeah, he attacks or conquers with a recruit again, and one of the Faithful Manufacturers as well. Okay, we're gonna pass back. We are on 4 points both of us, but I mean we can easily conquer with Riftbound student there on the recruit. We're gonna Falling Star. Now here I do it a bit hastily because when you play the Falling Star, you actually don't target until the spell resolves. But I mean in this case it didn't really have anything that I could react to or react with. But that is something you have to remember, is that you don't have to show the targets before they decide whether or not to counter the card. So that's important to remember. But yeah, I do target one of the guys in the background, and then I also consider targeting the Manufacturer in the base as well. But I decided to go for the one at the battlefield just because I don't want him to get the hold point next turn. And then if he swings in with the other Manufacturer, I can just deal with it then. So yeah, that's why I did it this way. And then we attack here, get 1 more point, and play a Hopeful and a Student. So now we have the Stupefy in hand, in case he wants to attack into the Student. We have the Stupefy to kind of even that out. Okay, he's gonna play a Rune. Then he plays the Spectral Matron. Now this is really good in the hook deck. He unfortunately for him doesn't have the Vanguard Captain, which is probably his best target for the Spectral Matron, but he does get 2 units back, which is not bad at all for him. And then he baited hooks the Spectral Matron, which, I mean, I don't know his deck, but usually you don't really want a Spectral Matron that, because if you want to go into Vayne like he did now, you could also just gotten that off of the recruit, because it's a 2 base power or base might, which is why the beta took deck is so good in red, because you have a lot of like small units like Vi and Draven and Vayne that kind of grow by effect, but the base might is really low, so you can just kind of level up into them from almost anything. So I don't think Spectral Matron was the correct beta hook target there, but maybe it was looking for something else. I don't know. Okay, it does get the Vayne. The Stupefy doesn't help us here because he is 1 might 2 mighty. But if he doesn't, yeah, it is gonna bounce it back. That's fair, and then he's gonna conquer 1 more. Okay. But fortunately, we do have 2 units ready to conquer back, so the Hopeful is gonna attack into the Manufacturer. Let's see if it has something here. Okay, it's gonna have the back-to-back to give it +2, but fortunately we do have the Stupefy. And here you can kind of see like that 1 point matters so much, like that breakpoint is so valuable in certain situations, and also it replaces itself. So it's almost like a free, you know, like a free killer unit almost. Okay, we're gonna go up to 6, and then we're gonna conquer with the Riftbound Regional 2, go up to 7, and then we are gonna play out the Sprite Mother into the base. We're gonna leave the Sprite Mother at the base, just because if we get blown out by something, we still have some way to come back next turn. Because next turn we could potentially play out the Thousand-Tailed Watcher, and then give whatever he has -3, and then conquer both battlefields, like one with a Mother and one with the Watcher. So that's why I didn't go all in on the battlefield, but just left the Mother itself sitting in the back, and then sending the Sprite in instead. But yeah, I mean, if he doesn't deal with this, then we are just gonna win it on the next turn. Okay, yeah, so he does have the Grand Stratagem, so he's gonna give all of his guys +5, but as we said earlier, he doesn't have, like, he only has 2 units, so he can only attack, I mean, he can only do so much with that. But if he had, like, only 1 unit more than this, then this would have been a totally different game. But for now, like, this just doesn't do enough. So yeah, plays the Stratagem, so the Manufacturer goes up to a 7, and the Recruit goes up to a 6. He's gonna attack for 7 to 5. We're kind of considering this, like, okay, no, we're just gonna let it go. We could have used a smoke screen, but would rather use this here because the difference is bigger here. Yep, smoke screen. The Recruit goes down to a 2, and then he gives us the GG, and that's it. Yeah, so you can really see like how important it is to keep Darius' board clear, especially in like the beta tuck decks or like recruit decks in general, like swarm decks, because like those big like anthem spells, like the big buff spells, are like what gets you if you can't remove everything. So, and that's why Kai'Sa it's so good at like removing stuff efficiently. Like for example, with when he tried to attack our Kai'Sa with the Darius. The fact that we could just for 1 energy use the Hextech rate to take the Darius with us, and then with the Kai'Sa ability we didn't even have to pay, didn't even have to recycle for it. Just goes to show like the spells get so powerful in Kai'Sa because you don't have to recycle, so you can keep killing stuff, but then also like evolving your rune count. So yeah, that's why like this deck it's so good. But okay, on to the next one. Okay, now second game is going to be against Ahri, and our main goal is to kill Ahri as early as possible, because that is how we lose, is that she just gets to build up too big of a board at one battlefield, and that we can't get through because of the minusing from both the Ahri champion and the legend. So yeah, we kind of want to get rid of the Ahri champion as fast as possible, so let's see what happens. Okay, around the play, we're going to lead off with a Ravenbloom student, as is tradition. He's going to lead off with a Sunlit Guardian. We're going to go conquering the fortified position. The fortified position is really good to get early, because it just gives one of your units +2 on defense. I mean, it gets shield too. So it's really good to get that before Ahri gets it, because if Ahri gets it, then it is really hard to get it back. Yep, he plays out the Ahri and an Hourglass. It is a bit risky to play out the Hourglass on the field like this because now he gives me the opportunity to potentially kill the Sunlit Guardian first, and then he can't save the Ahri with Hourglass. So that is also something you have to consider, like do you want to play it out or do you want to recycle one to hide it instead and then play it when you need it, because now it kind of gives me the opportunity to kill the Sunlit Guardian first. But okay, let's see what happens. Okay, I'll just go for strengthening the battlefield here and then just play another sentry. I mean, they're not really strong units, but I mean, mass is one thing that Ahri doesn't deal as well with, especially mass that is very little, like this. Okay, yep, he pulls both Ahris back and then he's just gonna stay in with the Sunlit Guardian. We're gonna play out the Hex Tech Crate, trying to get rid of the Sunlit Guardian. Okay, use the Hourglass. Then we just use the Sprite Mother to create a sprite and attack into the battlefield ourselves to go up to hopefully 4 points, unless he has something. I don't know what he could have, but okay, yeah, we do get that one. So now we are 4-2, which is a very good place to be against Ahri. And then we can pass pretty comfortably here because we have both Stupefy and the Smoke Screen. But I actually decided to go back, and I don't think that's a good move for me. I should have definitely stayed in because getting this battlefield back from Ahri is so hard. So yeah, I think that was definitely a misplay for me, but let's see if it matters in the end. He's gonna go in with Ahri here. Pretty risky considering I have 3 energy up, so I can potentially trade this with Ahri if I wanted to. I decide not to do it there, just because he has all of his energy up, so he might have a lot of stuff to deal with, like one of my spells. Yeah, and then he goes in with another Ahri, and then he plays at the Poro at the Reaver's Row. Okay. And we're gonna go ahead and play our Big Wolf, the Watcher. Just give everything -3, and then try to swing in here. And then we do also have 1 energy left to potentially play the Stupefy if we need to. Yeah, so the math is a bit weird there because he has, like on the fortified position, he has an Ahri that's 1, and then he has the Sunlit Guardian that's 1, and then the battlefields are going to give 1+2, and then the Guardian also has shield 1. So when I attack, he is going to have 5 might there. But I instead try to go for just attacking in with everything instead of attacking with the Guardian, because he's not going to get as much value out of his abilities this way. Okay, he decides to buff up the Ahri. Yep. So now it's currently 4-5. And I think I forgot about the Sunlit Guardian when I was doing this, so this was also kind of a misplay because I didn't think I had to use the Stupefy here. But I do if I want to clear everything, then I do have to use the Stupefy. Yeah, I forgot about the Sunlit Guardian having shield. So it was 1 more point than I anticipated. Okay, we try to go for the Stupefy. He might not have anything, but it does have the Defy, and that's fine. We still get to take care of one of the Ahris. Yep. And then we could just kill the Guardian with the Watcher. Yeah, and then we get 1 point, and I mean we're still in the lead. Even though we did do that a bit inefficiently, at least compared to what we planned to do originally. Okay, it's gonna play an Energy Conduit. That's a very interesting card in Ahri. Never seen that one before, but I guess it is just ramp. But I don't know, I mean, it costs 3 energy, and Ahri costs the same, so you don't really want to play it out on curve. So I don't really know when you would want to play this over like your units or your spells. But I guess if you have like a turn off, you can play it out and just have more energy on the following turn, so might not be that bad. He's gonna pay back to us. He's gonna pass back to us. We're just gonna fortify this fortified position. Yeah, we do get 1 for holding. We forgot to get that. He's gonna go to 6 as well. And now it's just like a matter of can he remove my stuff before I go to 8 points. He has 2 turns to do so. I have 1 smoke screen and nothing else. He's gonna go back, so he's kind of setting up for doing exactly that. And we get a Noxus Hopeful, yep, and we're just gonna play that and play the Kai'Sa out in the 45 position. Again, just building this up as big as possible because we are ahead. We're both on 7 points now, but we got the point first. So if he doesn't get to deal with all of this stuff on this turn, then we're just gonna win. And as I said, we do have the smoke screen. And yeah, as it turns out, he doesn't have anything, so he just gives me the GG. the GG. And yeah, that is like to beat this deck, you kind of have to just try to grind them out, because the defies are very efficient for what they do. Like, you pay 3 energy to play a Void Seeker, and then they just play 1 energy to counter it, and then you don't get the damage and you don't get the draw either. But at some point you just kind of have to force them to have it, like play it out. Even if they have 1 energy up, you could just play it out. Then if they have it, they have it, but then they don't have it for the next turn, you know. So yeah, but yeah, good game again against Ahri. Let's go on to the next one. And our final game is going to be against Lee Sin. And I mean, Lee Sin is probably the champion out of the base set, not counting Proving Grounds that people think is the worst. And I mean, he's not the best at the moment. I think he just lacks some support. But I made a video about him as well if you want to check him out. But okay, let's see if our opponent has something cooking here. Okay, our opponent is on the play. He's gonna lead off with a Clockwork Keeper and get the draw. Okay. We're gonna lead off with a Yordle and also get the draw, but we don't have to minus anything. We don't have to recycle, which is pretty good. He's gonna activate the Lee Sin ability and then put a counter on the Clockwork Keeper and go into Conquer 1 on the Dreaming Tree. Okay, so we're probably gonna stay away from that from now on. Or not from now on, but for now at least. But we are gonna lead off with a Void Seeker, trying to kill it. He does have the Defy, unfortunately, but it is what it is. He is playing green after all. Yep, we're gonna get 1 more point. Or 1 point. He's gonna get 1 more point for holding. We do have the smoke screen up if something happens, and we also have the retreat, though we don't really want to use retreat on a Yordle. We'd rather use it for something a bit more meaningful. But okay, our opponent is going to go ahead and play the Wizened Elder. I didn't play the Wizened Elder in my deck. I just felt that it was... I didn't really like it just being a big stat stick, but maybe it turns out to be good, who knows. Okay, we're going to swing in with the Kai'Sa into the Clockwork Keeper. He doesn't have anything to pump it up with, fortunately. He could have had the Call to Glory, but if he did have that, then we had the smoke screen, so we were still gonna win that. But it's good that we didn't have to spend extra resources to kill it, so that's just very clean conquer from Kai'Sa. And the Lecturing Yordle is just gonna go back, because I mean the Wizened Elder is gonna kill it anyways next turn. If he decides to attack that battlefield, which... I mean, he might not choose to. He is currently at a 4, but then if he uses the Lee Sin ability, he gets it to a 6. Or if he plays the Pit Rookie, it also goes to 6. Yep. He's gonna go attacking into our Kai'Sa. We're gonna go ahead and play Retreat, hoping that he doesn't have a Defy. He doesn't have a Defy. We could have also played the smoke screen there, but the problem with that would have been that he has like 4 runes up, and if he had any pump spells, basically, then we would at least trade it. And if he had 1 more, then he would have just been too big for us to handle. So I think the retreat there is just a bit safer. Even though it does kind of set us back, but that's fine. We're not in a rush. And we have a lot of removal in our hands, so this Wizened Elder is gonna get removed one way or another. Yeah, look at this. The Cathian Rain, double Falling Star, and Void Seeker. Yeah, we're not in a bad spot. Okay, it does play the Hourglass, so that means that we do... if we're gonna play the Falling Star, we have to kill the Pit Rookie first. So he doesn't get to activate the Zarnish Hourglass on the Wizened Elder. Yeah, I decided I'd try to go for the Hextech Ray, but of course Hextech Ray only works on units at battlefields. But we are gonna go ahead and play the Falling Star. And yeah, I almost targeted right away, but as again he has to decide now if he wants to conquer. No, if he wants to counter, and then if he doesn't counter, then I target. Okay, so he's just gonna preemptively use the Zarnish Hourglass. And then I just tell him that I deal 3 to the rookie and then 3 to the Wizened Elder. Yep, and then I'm gonna play the Hex Check Raid to take care of the Elder as well. He's gonna play the Discipline. Okay, so currently the Elder is an 8 might unit that has 6 damage marked on it. So he kinda has 2 health. He has 8 might but 2 health left. And health doesn't heal until the end of a showdown or at the end of the turn. And we decided to swing with the Yordle because the Wizened Elder has 8 might but 2 health, and the Yordle has 2 might, so that is just enough. And if he does have anything, then we still have like Smokescreen, and we have the Void Seeker, and we have a bunch of stuff to kind of finish it off. Okay, he does take the trade, and then we're just gonna develop the Sprite Mother and conquer a point for ourselves. Yep, and then pass to him. Also holding Smokescreen up in case he wants to attack with something into the Sprite. Yeah, the Sprite. Yeah, so I mean, this is what Kai'Sa's so good at, like developing your own board while also clearing your opponent's board. Okay, our opponent's gonna activate On Guard. I decide, you know what, I'm not gonna use anything on that because the Sprite is gonna die in next turn anyway, so there's not really any point in saving it, besides like trying to stop him from getting a point. But I mean, it's not late game, so getting that point doesn't really matter that much for now, at least. Okay, he's gonna play a first mate into another first mate and conquer the other battlefield. Okay, that's fine. He is currently now only at 1 rune up, which limits his options on our turn. So let's see what we decide to do. Yep, I'm gonna go Sprite Mother into the Pit Rookie. Hopefully he doesn't have a pump spell. He could have an On Guard, he just played one, so he only has 2 left in his deck. Okay, he doesn't have anything, we get the point. So we are going to go ahead and play Kai'Sa, hoping to take the other battlefield. Yep, we get that as well, draw 1. We're now at 6 points. So if we can get this hold on both the battlefields, then we just win next turn. We do have the Smokescreen and the Stupefy. Okay, it's gonna attack into there. So he's at a 4, we're gonna Stupefy first. He's gonna defy that. And then we're gonna smoke. Oh, we're not gonna Smokescreen actually, okay. I could have Smokescreen there. I think that would probably have been a good play, but I don't know why I didn't do that. Okay, and he's gonna play a hidden card. And a Wizened Elder and a Kiana. Okay, I mean, we're gonna get 1 point for holding. And now the thing is, like, he only has 1 card left in hand, and we have the Cathian Rune, and he does have a hidden card as well, which is probably gonna be, I mean, it could be like an Hourglass. It could also be a Charm or something. No, not a Charm, but the Block or something like that. But I think now is just the perfect time to use the Cathian Rain, even though he has the Kiana, so he kind of have to recycle 2 extra. But I think it's worth it just to get rid of his board. And then he has so few options up next turn that we're probably just gonna win off of that. Okay, and he has the Last Stand, which is gonna buff the first mate up. So he has 1 health. But since he has 1 health, now a lot of people get this confused, but when you play Smokescreen or like minus abilities, it minuses the might. It doesn't like minus the, because now the first mate is a 4. No, I'm sorry, he's a 5. He's a 5 might unit, but 1 health left, which means that he's been dealt 4 damage. And then Smokescreen minuses the might. So now his might would be at 1 point, but the damage dealt would be at 4. So since the damage is more than his might, he's gonna die. But a lot of people get that confused. They think they're like, okay, but he only has 1 left, like he's at a 1, so the Smokescreen doesn't do anything. But the might isn't a 1. But the damage, like his health, is a 1. So it's kind of confusing in Riftbound, just because health isn't displayed on the card. Like might, like power and like might and health is the same thing. But that is one thing that you should know, is that damaging a card and then playing a minus card like a minus might card like Smokescreen will kill it, as long as the current might is lower than or equal to or lower than the current damage being dealt to the card. So yeah, Bit of a long one, but I think you know what I mean. If you don't, then DM me and I can explain it to you. I'm actually thinking of doing like a Q&A video if I get enough questions. So if you do have any, then please send them to me. Yeah, this is gonna take a long time with me trying to explain how that works to him. I'm just gonna like fast forward a bit. Okay, he's gonna. There we go. Okay, let's go. Yeah, I mean, he just didn't know how it worked, right? So I mean, we're all still learning, but that is one thing that a lot of people get wrong. But okay, he's gonna develop a Poro. And I mean, yeah, I mean, if he doesn't have anything to get rid of this Kaiser, then we are just gonna get the win here. He has 2 cards left and the Lee Sin champion that doesn't do anything now. Okay, so he's gonna play the Charm on the Kaiser. Unfortunately, that is gonna get to send it back. So we're not gonna get the hold. So we're gonna have to try to conquer next turn. Or potentially draw into something now. If we draw into a Kaiser, then we just win. Okay, we draw the Auction Hopeful. Then we are at 6 energy, so we are just gonna like run off the Singularity. We do have to pay the deflect cost, but I mean, if he clears his board, he's now top taking 1 card, and then again, if he can't clear the Kaiser next turn, then we're just gonna win. And his last card is. Okay, well that's Lee Sin. Does he have anything else? Nope, he does not. So we get the win. Yeah, I mean, Lee Sin is it's a really cool legend, I think, and the colors are both very good, like green and orange is very good colors. But I just think there's not enough like buff synergy to work with him right now. And Kaiser is just such a consistent deck. Like it gets so much value from the legend ability all the time. And yeah, so okay, good game. And that is Kaiser. I mean, yeah, this legend is insane. Because the thing is that a lot of these removal spells, or the spells like the Void Seekers and the Falling Stars and the Smokescreen and the Hextech Ray and the Singularity, like all of these are kind of balanced by the fact that you have to recycle a certain amount of runes to do so. But with Kaiser just kind of circumventing that, it just unbalances all of these cards. So in Kaiser, these cards are just way better than they were kind of like intended to be, you know? Like the Catherine Rain just setting you back 1 turn instead of setting you back like 1.5 turn, which it would have done if you could play it in other decks, and then just playing Void Seekers and Hextech Rays and the Smoke Screens without recycling anything is just incredible. So yeah, I really get why this deck is as good as it is, and also the signature spell, the Catherine Rain, is just ridiculous. Like deal 2 damage 6 times is so flexible. You can kill a big unit, you can build a bunch of small units, you can kill like 2 semi-big units. I mean, yeah, this card is just insane. And then with all the units as well, like all these little guys to kind of get you in the game early, to kind of, because you are playing a lot, like for a spell deck, you are playing a lot of units. Like all of these units you're playing. And a lot of these are like early drops, like this, and then these 3 are just early drops to kind of get you conquering points, because like in a lot of games that's what matters, is like that you get to conquer the early points. So with Kaiser being able to do that while also simultaneously very effectively removing your opponent's stuff is just, I mean, you kind of get why she's as good as she is, because she's just so consistent, because you can keep your curve with, like, you can play all these powerful spells without losing your curve, like your rune curve. So yeah, this deck is, I mean, for one, I really get why this deck is as good as it is, and I think it is absolutely, I think she absolutely deserved to win. So yeah, but with that, I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please take care, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye.